All right, welcome everyone. This is going to be a great interview for you. If you are a parent who knows that veggies are important, but your child might not think the same thing, because I have Monica Irwin, an amazing host with me today. She's the creator of Veggie Buds Club, which is actually a hands-on program that teaches your child to learn to love a new veggie each and every month, using games, using crafts, using recipes, and more. What I love about it is that it's an interactive approach. So welcome, Monica. So excited to have you here today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, how did you get started with something like Veggie Buds Club?
Sure. So I'll try to keep it pretty concise, but there's a whole history to Veggie Buds Club. So many years ago, about 12 years ago, I was a community supported agriculture farmer here in Northfield, which is where I live. And I found that many of my members had young children. And so I developed this curriculum around a different vegetable every week that they picked up at our farm. And the parents loved it, the children loved it. They were more likely to eat the said vegetable that was in season because of the crafts and the learning and the cooking piece that went along with it. So I took that a little further and developed a program that was offered at farmers markets and community supported agriculture farms across the country for a few years. It was called Budding Farmers, and it was fun and robust, and I loved it. And then I had kids, so it kind of went on pause for a little bit. But fast forward a few years, and I have my daughter, who at that time is 3 years old, and she is a little bit picky. So I was working full time at that moment, and I'd come home, we'd make dinner, and she, it was like, eat your vegetables. There wasn't much more that I was doing except saying, eat what's on your plate, and then you can have dessert, that kind of piece, which we've all done, and it's totally okay. But at that moment, this light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, wait a second, I have this whole curriculum that I developed years ago that made veggies fun for these other kids, and I should try it on my own daughter now. And it worked. So it wasn't just eat your vegetables. It was like, oh, let's get these books about veggies at the library and read about them tonight. And we can do this little craft project. And then, why don't you try a little bit of spinach? And it worked for her. And I just dove deep and I created this product called Veggie Buds Club so that other parents in possibly a similar situation could try it with their own children at home. And that is the history of the Veggie Buds Club.
I
And now
love
I've
that. Yeah.
couple of years in now. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
So,
that's a great story. It reminds me when I was in chiropractic school, a friend and I split a CSA, and it was the first time we had ever done it. So if you're not familiar with that, community supported agriculture, you sign up for the growing season and you get a box. We had one every week, and it would come with all these different vegetables, and there'd be like carrots or beans or lettuce that I was used to eating, but every once in a while there'd be this veggie in there that I'd never seen before. And it was always fun because it usually came then with like some sort of recipe, and it allowed me to experiment with a veggie I would never, if I went through the grocery store, I would never pick that veggie out. But because it
yeah,
got shipped or picked up and it was at my door in my fridge, like I had to come up with a way to eat it. So I love that it's doing this for kids to not only get them, experience with something healthy, but such a variety of things because our bodies need a good variety of nutrients as well. And setting them up, if they taste it when they're young, they're going to be more likely to eat it when they're older. So fantastic
exactly.
program. Yeah,
All of that exposure.
yeah,
Hmm.
I love that. So,
Totally.
what are some of the moms and dads out there that choose to jump into Veggie Buds Club? What are there other challenges they're experiencing or other tendencies? Like, what kind of ideal person do you like to serve with Veggie Buds Club?
Sure. Uh, I feel like the parents and the grandparents who
Mm-hmm.
subscribe to Veggie Buds Club really run the gamut. Some of them have very picky eaters, and so they're looking for a different type of solution to try to take on this issue that they're having. Some of them are super veggie lovers anyways, and they want to just do more fun activities with vegetables other than just cooking them. So some have these kids who they cook with all the time and they love their vegetables, but they're like, hey, we could do crafts and we can learn how to grow this vegetable in a container garden in our kitchen together. So it's a way to go beyond just the kitchen and just the plate at the dinner table. And I also feel like there's stay-at-home parents and full-time working parents. And so Veggie Buds Club is geared towards 3 to 6-year-olds. Okay. And so those are the pre-K years when you're getting your first major exposures to all of these different flavors. And if you're at home with your children, a lot of times it's real nice to save these activities for like your 3-year-old while your 1-year-old sister is taking a nap. So it's this fun kind of lands at your doorstep activity that's already pre-planned for you that you can do every afternoon with your child. So there's that. And then there's the working parent who, reads through their booklet of all these different activities for the month and hypes up this veggie for their child. And they're like, when I get home from work, we're going to play this pumpkin game and read this 5 Little Pumpkin books. And then on Saturday, we'll bake those pumpkin donuts together. So you can really kind of mix and match and work on these activities over the course of the month in whatever way matches your lifestyle.
Awesome. Do you ever find that kids, maybe the first time or two, they're playing with their vegetables, but because they have a craft to build with them or a game to play with them, maybe they don't try it right away, but because they got that exposure, all of a sudden they're trying it later on, the second time or third time they see the veggie?
Yes, that's the idea, is that you're not going to do a craft and they're going to immediately want to eat their beans. But you might be playing with beans. So like for Bean Month, we have this tic-tac-toe game where you take 4 green beans and make a tic-tac-toe board and then use dry beans for the X's and the O's. So you can prep the tic-tac-toe board together. They can like snap the bean ends, build the board. Maybe they stick their finger in their mouth and they get a little bit of that bean flavor. So it's just those tactile experiences can lead to accepting beans on their dinner plates. And there's so many different forms that these vegetables can come in too. So with our recipes each month, it's not just eat some fresh green beans. It's like, you could also, chop them up and put them in like a fritter, or you can make a bean fritter, or you can eat like dry bean, you can eat black bean soup instead of fresh green beans. So you can kind of play with different, fresh or cooked or mushy or crunchy, all these different ways that you can try your vegetables.
That's great. In our office, we see a lot of families whose kids have sensory challenges, and they might be sensitive to a crunch, but not to a mush, or maybe they don't like mushy, but they like crunchy. And I think those options are great to allow a child to get the veggie in the form that is going to best suit them.
Right. Yeah. And it's all a process. You may only want to have smoothies with vegetables in them for a couple years, but if you keep trying and if you make veggies fun, down the road, then they'll be willing to put in a new form. Yeah.
And I bet especially in today's day and age, we're in such, fast-paced society, always on the move, go, and sometimes I think we lose touch with our food, of where it came from or what does it take to prepare it, or that level of interaction. I know a lot with digestion, when you smell the food being made, whether it's from the stove or the oven or chopping it up, as soon as you smell it, your digestion is actually starting to make some enzymes and digestive things that are going to help out in when you actually eat that food. So I just love that it's getting the child interacting with food on a whole new level.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. There's this is not totally vegetable related, but the other day I was at the grocery store. I'm from Chicago, so deep dish pizza, and I saw a deep dish pizza in the freezer aisle, and I just started salivating. It's just funny how emotional food is. Whether it's a deep dish pizza or if it's a vegetable.
Right.
It's it's just fun. And one thing that we really do focus on is having your children help you prepare these vegetables. That I have found when I was a farmer, it was having the children in the field picking the vegetables. That very powerful in itself, to pick a sugar snap pea off the vine and eat it and see how delicious it is there, and being a part of that. But then take it into the kitchen and they may make something with you, like one of the recipes that we feature, and they may not necessarily like it, but they might try it. And so that is part of it too. Like I said, getting a little bit of it on your fingers, helping prep it. My 3-year-old son loves when we bust out the food processor, just getting to buzz something up is exciting. And it's the idea of Veggie Buds Club is just to make vegetables this daily occurrence. They're just this normal thing, but we can make them fun and you can help prep them and eat them. So it's kind of a low pressure type way to get excited about veggies.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And giving a child's brain, like you said, with the emotional piece, like a positive emotional interaction. Just like you said with the deep dish pizza, your brain remembers good memories around it, right? So you start salivating, and I picture a lot of kids, if they're being forced to eat your veggies, eat your veggies, eat your veggies, all of a sudden they get a little bit older when they now have a choice of what they're going to eat or not eat. And if their only memory is being force fed them at the dinner table but not really interacting in the whole process, it's going to affect their taste buds down the road just because of how the brain processes an emotion and holds onto it for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah. It's part of the full cycle. Right in front of me, I'm going to grab something real fast.
Okay.
Here's a bean plant that me and my son have been growing, and it's not going to produce beans because we live in Minnesota, and it's already almost October, but he can't wait for it to make beans. And he's totally like, we were at the grocery store and he was like, he wanted to buy some beans, so like
right.
Those pieces too, hearkening back to when I was in the field.
Definitely.
It's fun. Yeah.
Great. So what does it look like as a subscriber to Veggie Buds Club? What do they get in the mail every month?
Sure. So every month there's 2 options. And so we create this 30-page digital ebook. So every month on the first of the month in your inbox, you get this resource at your fingertips that has the recipes, the crafts, the games, the activity pages, like coloring sheets, sticker pages. We have a pediatric dietitian that we work with that writes a tip sheet for parents on different techniques to try to introduce the veggie of the month. So there's that component. So you don't have to think about it. You just get this booklet. You can choose to view it on your device or print it, and it's there, and you can follow it with us throughout the month. So everyone who subscribes gets this digital ebook, and then there's also the option to get a mailer as well. So on about the first of the month, you get a package in the mail that has the specialty craft supplies, the organic seeds for the growing projects, a veggie temporary tattoo, and a little button, different incentives to get your kids excited about vegetables. So there's these 2 pieces that you get. And October is pumpkins, of course. So we're trying to make pumpkins tasty for kids, not just spooky. And so if you sign up, then on the first, you get 30 pages of pumpkin activities plus this mailer in your mailbox. And kids, when they get special mail, it's really nice. So just getting that piece of mail makes a big difference too.
Absolutely. They feel special then.
They do.
I'm thinking back to when as a kid, pumpkin pie was always the pie I didn't like. Now as an adult, I like it, but it was an acquired taste that maybe if I would have had this in my Octobers as a kid, I would have liked my pumpkin pie a little bit earlier on. Yeah,
and there's we have sweet and savory recipes featured. So we have this like one pot pumpkin pasta that's real yummy, pumpkin mac and cheese, pumpkin donuts, but baked pumpkin donuts, lower sugar, and they're delicious.
Sounds tasty.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, yeah.
So as we're wrapping up then, Monica, what is and we'll put it in the comments below, but if someone's interested in finding out more, what's the best way to get hold of you or look into Veggie Buds Club?
Sure. You can just visit our website, veggiebudsclub.com, and you can learn more information there. Or we have a real, robust Instagram page. So if you're on Instagram and you just search Veggie Buds Club, we'll pop up. And then if you have any further questions, just feel free to send me an email and I'll get back right away.
Awesome.
I love Veggie Buds Club as a community. It's really this community of parents who care about their kids and vegetables, and it's been real fun to create that community.
Absolutely. We love the importance of community too and just building those connections. So thank you so much for what you're doing. And I appreciate your time today and thank you for sharing. It was great to have you.
Thank you for having me. It was real fun.
Absolutely. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.